Hey there guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hello. My name is Nick Leland and I'm a video editor with a passion for talking about movies and movie history. For today's video, we're going to talk about Universal's 1931 adaptation of Mary Shelley's novel, Frankenstein. So the plot of this movie is one that I'd assume most of us are familiar with by this point. Dr. Frankenstein, played by Colin Clive, and his assistant Fritz, played by Dwight Frye, rob some graves in order to make a 10 to 12 foot tall creature played by Boris Karloff. But since this is a horror movie, things don't go according to plan. The first thing about this movie that I want to touch on is Colin Clive's performance as Dr. Frankenstein. I think he does a great job with portraying Frankenstein's desire to find the secret to life and just showing how he's become so desperate that he's willing to do pretty much anything to find it, i.e. he's come to the point where he's robbing graves in order to make his own being in order to find out if he can actually give life to it. And I think he also does a great job of showcasing both the physical and mental toll that his experiments have taken on him, especially when his friends and family come to see him during his experiment, when he shows clear frustration against them, but then he lets them see the experiment. And then when he manages to bring life to the creature, you see that he is clearly excited beyond belief, and you just see this helpless man that just really needs some help at this point. And the second performance that I thought was really well done in this movie was Boris Karloff as the monster. I thought Karloff did a great job with showcasing how the monster was basically just a child that was way too tall and had way too much strength. Because obviously, again, not spoiling anything, since this is a horror movie, things don't go according to plan, and the monster does end up doing some bad things, unfortunately. And I also think that Jack Pierce's makeup design for the creature is really well done, and obviously, since it is what most people think of when they think of Frankenstein's monster, is still very iconic to this day. Now, in terms of the rest of the acting in this movie, a lot of it is what you would expect for the times, very, not necessarily dry, but very flat in their delivery. Like, there are some other good performances, like Dwight Frye as the assistant Fritz is a really fun, over-the-top performance, and Edward Van Stallone is a very professional performance. I think obviously he does a really good job. But aside from those performances, the rest of the acting in this movie is, again, not bad, but the best way to put it, I would say, is flat, or just what you would expect for a lot of the early talkies. Now, another thing about this movie that I want to talk about is the scene where Frankenstein gives the creature life. As like Boris Karloff's makeup of the monster, this has rightfully become one of the most iconic scenes in movie history. One thing about this scene that I want to touch on is, in Mary Shelley's original book, it's not explicitly stated as to how Frankenstein gives the creature life. And as a result, Universal had to come up with the idea for bolts being in the monster's neck and for electricity from a thunderstorm being what gives the creature life, all on their own. And I think they did a really good job with making a really fascinating scene, seeing all of the gadgets do their thing, and just seeing, again, Colin Clive's reaction to the monster finally being given life. Just seeing his joy and his exhaustion, I think, helps make this a very both memorable, terrifying, and tragic scene. Now, the last thing I want to touch on with this movie is, again, without spoiling anything for you guys, it is interesting to see what the studio managed to get away with for 1931. Because keep in mind, the Hays Code went into effect in 1934, which was just 3 years after Frankenstein was released. So it is interesting, while the Hays Code wasn't in effect, to see how Universal was able to still get away with a lot of the stuff that they did. So those are my main thoughts on Universal's adaptation of Frankenstein. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to hit the like button, and be sure to subscribe for some more movie reviews and movie history content. And also make sure to let me know in the comments what you thought about this movie, and what other classic horror movies you would like to hear me talk about. And with all that said, my name is Nick Leland. Thank you for watching this video, and have a great day.